My husband and son both lied to me. I'm 34 and my husband is 36, and we've been married for 12 years. A few weeks ago, my husband said that he has seen another woman handle situations that he didn't think I would be able to. I tried to talk to him about why it bothered me, and he just told me it was a passing comment and I shouldn't take it so seriously. That he had meant it to simply compliment her by saying she was handling so much on her own, and he was impressed by it. You can't compliment someone by bringing someone else down. I told him it was completely unnecessary and hurtful to compare her to me to compliment her. He told me I was being unreasonable and jealous and that he didn't mean anything by it. After that, he didn't say anything else about it, so I dropped it. Then yesterday, when I came home from work and saw a pair of women's Fendi glasses on our kitchen island, kind of hidden by our fruit bowl, I picked them up and asked my husband whose they were. He looked confused and was like, "Aren't they yours?" I said, "No." Our older son, 11, is sitting at the table and goes, "Oh, those are my friend Allison's. I took them home by accident." I was immediately suspicious. These are very expensive glasses, and I know Allison's mother, and she doesn't seem like the type to let her child bring something worth that much money into school. My son kept insisting they were hers, and he had just taken them home accidentally on the bus, and he'd return them to her tomorrow. But I said no, and that I'd return them to her mother in person so I could make sure they got to them safely. When I spoke to Allison's mother, she confirmed that they weren't Allison's, and that neither she nor her daughter owned sunglasses like that. When I told my son and my husband this, they both feigned ignorance. My son went from saying that he could have sworn they were Allison's to, well, maybe not. Maybe I don't know whose they are. And then my husband said that he does remember taking the sunglasses out of our son's backpack when he was getting out his lunch stuff. Then my younger son, 9, just came home and recognized the sunglasses. They are Noelle's, the woman he helps out sometimes, the one he told me to not be upset that he compares me to her. I'm going to confront him when he gets home. I don't know what to say to him. I feel as though I'm going to immediately burst into tears. Can someone please give me advice on what to say? And also just general advice, please. I never thought I would be in this situation. Update. My youngest son, 9, ended up identifying the sunglasses. When he got home, my husband admitted they were Noelle's. She has been over there while I was at work. My husband has not realized they were hers. He thought they were mine, which is why he didn't move them. My older son realized whose they were immediately, which is why he lied about them. He knew I was going to find it all out and was trying to cover. My youngest son recognized them because apparently they have all gone with Noelle numerous places on my husband's days off while I was at work. I don't know what he told my older son, but he told my youngest not to tell me about Noelle and her son hanging out with them because I would feel bad about being left out because I was at work. I returned the glasses to Noelle, who seemed horrified. She was under the assumption I knew about their hangouts. I asked her why did she think I would be okay with this. She looked really confused and told me why would I care if we were separated anyway. I told her we absolutely were not separated. We were very much still together. Apparently, my husband told her we had not been together except for cohabitating and co-parenting for months now. I confronted my husband with this information and he didn't deny it. He apologized but said he had developed feelings for Noelle but didn't want to risk our marriage until he knew if they were true feelings or just attraction. He left the house. Noelle wants nothing to do with him because now she knows the truth. He lied to her as well and she's furious. I'm speaking to a lawyer today. I'm not going to speak with him again except through lawyers since I don't have anything else to say to him. Am I wrong for neutering a cat that was clearly owned? I run a TNR program for feral cats, nonprofit. I catch all of the cats and get them the medical attention they need myself out of my own pocket. I love helping them. A lot of the cats are not able to be rehomed, so I fix them and release them, get them their shots and hope for the best. I am not a large-scale operation. Recently, I was called to an area overrun with orange cats. They were everywhere, and I mostly ended up handing it over to professionals. I did, however, manage to grab 3 very sweet cats. 2 were terrified, skinny, a little beaten up, but overall friendly. The third one was a little gent. He was tubby, well-groomed, fish pattern collar, the works. My plan was to find his parents and drop him off with a warning to keep him in due to the large amount of traps being set. Then the little sprayed the inside of my car to the freaking max. So apparently he wasn't fixed. I couldn't really tell. He had long hair and assumed he was so, left my covers off. Big mistake. So apparently he wasn't fixed. I debated taking him home or taking him to get neutered with the rest. He was an indoor-outdoor cat, indicated by his collar tag, and with so many strays, I'm certain some were carrying his genetics. Ultimately, I took him with me and got him neutered. No chips, so I called the number on his tag and informed them where their cat was and gave them their time slots to pick him up or have him dropped off. The owners went ballistic. They were cursing me out and came to collect their cat not 20 minutes later, called me a kidnapper, blamed me for their child having nightmares, scared over their cat going missing. I tried to explain that he needed to be fixed if he was going to be outside, but they didn't want to know. They said I should have called immediately regardless. I spoke to my rescue friend who said I was in the wrong. Even though we know we are technically in the right, we didn't have the legal ground to do that, and it wasn't my decision to make. I did apologize, but I have blocked their numbers. The mom is flaming me on Facebook and DMing people I know. I have a duty to care for stray cats. Me knowing an unneutered male was roaming free and not doing anything about it was a concern for the said stray cats. Things are still tense between my rescue buddy and I don't completely disagree. I know I crossed the line even if it was for the greater good. People are finding out and taking sides. So I'm not sure who to really believe was right here. So am I the asshole? Am I wrong for choosing not to pay for my daughter's university fees despite paying for her brother's? My 57 male, daughter Jane, 21 female, recently has been accepted into the university of her choice. Now, me and my wife, 55 male, are glad with the news. The only thing is that Jane got accepted to do an English degree. Now, Jane, compared to her two brothers, Mark 28 and Leo 30, was quite late in applying to university. When me and my wife asked her to start at 18, she claimed she was not ready and wanted to have a little rest. A little rest being going out with friends and traveling the whole of last year with her boyfriend. It should be noted that I supplied Jane with all of the money needed for her little rest. Now, me and my wife have nothing against Jane doing what she did. She's young, and young people live to explore and do what they do. However, before me and my wife allowed for Jane to do her thing, we made her promise that when she did apply to university, it was for a degree that was worth it. Jane was going through a weird phase where she wanted to be many things that were more on the creative side. Fast forward a year later, we found out that Jane's gone behind our backs and applied for an English degree. Both Leo and Mark took medical degrees and are now very good, well-paid doctors. One would think that this would motivate Janet to go on the same path, but instead she decided to be herself. I sat down Jane last night and told her that if she decided to go through with the English degree, I would not support her at all, and she would have to take out her own student loan. At this, she began crying, claiming that I was the worst dad ever, and had always favored her brothers over her because I had paid for their university fees. Now, this is totally incorrect. I literally paid for her travel all of last year. My sons think that I'm being too harsh and that I should simply support Jane regardless of what she chooses, but is it too much to ask of my daughter to follow through with an actual useful degree? No. My daughter's year of travel does not add up to her brother's tuition fees, not even close. For those wondering, I work as a cardiologist. Me not wanting my daughter to do an English degree is not because I'm sexist, but because I want her to do something useful which she can live off of instead of depending on me for the rest of her life. Am I wrong for backing out of paying for my sister's wedding dress over a joke she made? I had an incident on my wedding day back in 2017 where my former fiance abandoned me and ran away with his pregnant mistress. That image, those details are forever engraved on my mind, and I'll never forget how I felt that day. That was truly a turning point in my life. My family has always been there for me, so I kept close to them. My younger sister is currently engaged and her wedding will be in a few months. She's struggling with money, so I decided to help her and her fiance and pay for the wedding dress. This allowed her to be able to buy her dream wedding gown that cost $7,000. It's a lot for a dress, but she literally cried because she wanted it. This happened a few days before we agreed to go buy the dress. We were eating dinner at my parents' house and my cousin and aunt were there. My aunt was asking my sister about the wedding and my sister said that everything was going according to plan and then casually laughed and said, "Let's just hope he won't run away with a pregnant mistress or something on our wedding day." I was blown away completely. She laughed and my aunt laughed too as if this was a joke. She was basically mocking what happened with me on my wedding. It happened so fast. I got up and started screaming at her, calling her an idiot, but my parents asked me to take it easy and said she thought it was a joke and didn't think I'd react so intensely. My aunt remained seated and my cousin asked me to calm down and drink some water, but I grabbed my stuff and I was getting ready to leave. I told my sister she was getting $0 for her dream wedding dress, then I walked out. I heard louder commotion as I walked away and my dad and cousin followed me outside trying to talk, but I asked to be left alone. My dad and I spoke and he said I was too harsh on my sister over a joke and said that I know this is how she is with her dark sense of humor. They said she's been crying after I decided to back out of helping her and said this would ruin her wedding. They want me to reconsider my decision since it might damage my relationship with my sister, but I refused. Did I overreact?